Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Network. I'm Jeannie Duca, Chief Marketing Officer for BCN, and today I'm excited to have as my guest Randall Porter, Vice President of AT&T Partner Solutions. For those of you who know Randall and his team, you know that they always deliver the most personal experience to the people they work with. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how they do that. We'll talk about the challenges and some of the new technologies that customers are coming up against. And finally, we'll talk about some of the exciting new initiatives that are happening at AT&T that will impact not only BCN, but the partner ecosystem that we support. Welcome to the program, Randall.
Hey, Jeannie, it's so awesome to be here. Worked with you and the BCN team for a long time. We were just catching up relative to channel partners this year and
Yes.
really looking forward to the discussion. Thanks for having me.
Of course, we're happy to have you. So I'm going to go back to what I mentioned in my intro about the personal experience that you and your team deliver. You do such a great job at making every interaction feel curated and boutique-like. And clearly, that is not an easy thing to do, especially when you are with a company that is, so big, has so much scale, one of the largest in the world, of course. I know that doesn't happen by accident, so I'd love if you could take us behind the scenes and let us know how you, as the leader of that organization and your team, how do you focus on that and how do you make that a reality for customers like BCN?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I'm glad you raised it right from the beginning because we do hold that experience kind of near and dear to our hearts. It's been at the center of our culture from day one, actually going all the way back to our original charter. We're partner first, period. We launched Partner Exchange, it's hard to believe, but almost 13 years ago. And BCN, you guys were there almost since the inception. So thanks for your ongoing partnership.
Sure.
What was interesting was during that first month, we actually did two things to ensure that culture quickly took hold. First, I know it sounds a little bit weird, but we actually put a chair in the center of our launch room, and that represented the solution provider. We wanted to make sure that every single decision that we were making, relative to the market, relative to how we were going to partner going forward, took the solution provider and their needs and their concerns, to our hearts, and took that to what was needed in the market. And then the second thing we did quickly, and this was over the course of the next 4 months, kind of pre-launch, was we brought in 5 solution providers to really validate and help shape what that program was going to look like. And that really sped us to market quickly, as you probably remember. So our focus has always been on helping SPs get to market faster and quickly grow with AT&T connectivity. And I'll tell you, Jeannie, that focus is still there and alive today. Behind the scenes, if you kind of fast forward to today, there's four things that we're focused on that really go to the heart of that experience. The first is automation. You know how important that is today, and that's really about efficiency, APIs for qualification, pricing, ordering, service delivery, service management. We know that in order to compete and to be utilized today from a connectivity standpoint, we've got to be efficient and we've got to have automation for our partners. The second is flexibility. We know that we've got to be flexible relative to our connectivity solutions, both in terms of mobile and in terms of wireline. So providing you guys that flexibility on how you piece those parts together to serve your customers is key. And then 2 more, speed to market. So in today's environment, so competitive. We heard it time and time again at channel partners. You guys have raised at our advisory council, regional events. That speed to market is key. Things are changing so fast. We've got to make sure we're getting those new solutions, new products and services, updated pricing as quickly as possible. And then finally, we know it's all about profitable growth for you, for the TSDs, for their advisors. And so we want to make sure that all of those things wrap together in order to provide profitability for you and your customers to utilize. And I know I just wrap that piece up in terms of the experience. You've heard me say it kind of 1,000 times. There is no partner exchange with our partners, and so we hold that key to how we operate on a daily basis.
I love that, and I love the fact that I love the chair in the room. I think that's a really interesting concept and tactic to orient all
It
of the
felt a little
people.
bit weird, I'll tell you. I'm glad you
Yeah.
said that. It felt a little bit weird at the outset, but then once you kind of got used to it, it really did drive that mindset on every single decision.
Yeah, I really do love that approach. And I think that, clearly it worked. Clearly you've been able to maintain that. And I'm sure that you continue to focus on it, as you mentioned, and it's always top of mind, even when you're bringing new people into the organization. I'm sure you're looking at those candidates in terms of, are these the types of people who are going to be able to deliver on the promise that we make to our partners regarding the experience? And I love that the culture was paramount from day one, and it really shows. Thank you for all of that information on how you got there. It was really obviously, as I said, not by accident. Today, with the economy, with certain things going on, customers are more and more careful and thoughtful about the technology decisions that they're making, whether that's how quickly they're going to make them or the scope of those decisions that they're going to make. And I think with that comes some additional opportunity for us as partners to go in and really understand how we can solve the challenges they're facing and how to guide them through some of the what I'll call the noise today out in the market, and how we can help keep them on track. What are you seeing when you talk to customers? How are they facing some of these challenges head on?
Yeah, I know it's a great follow-on question, and when you kind of consider that it does start with, you mentioned it, the culture, the people first, how you focus on the experience. At the end of the day, where the rubber meets the road, it starts and ends with a high-speed, secure and reliable network. That's what they need in order to execute their business, right? Everything is digital, everything is connected, everything is in the cloud. So having a best-in-class network is really key these days. And from an AT&T standpoint, that's what we're 100% focused on. We're focused on deploying capital and networks at a rate that's unparalleled in the industry, and then innovating on top of that in order to provide kind of that best-in-class, I mentioned it a second ago, converged network experience, so that you, our solution providers, the TSDs and their advisors can deliver, that best-in-class experience for customers. And just to give you a little bit of, kind of what's going on behind the scenes from an AT&T standpoint, and what we're doing in the market to make sure that we're able to meet those needs. I'll just give you a couple of proof points. So number
Sure.
one, last few years, we're actually investing at a level that's unprecedented in the industry. It's over 20 billion a year in both fiber and 5G. Second, and you've probably seen in the news, it's not only organic growth, right? It's inorganic growth. To our points earlier, we've got to be faster. So we did a deal with Lumen around 4 million kind of consumer fiber locations, and then also with EchoStar around expanding our spectrum position to put us in a better position for opportunities coming down the pipe, which is another big one that we're hearing from customers relative to fixed wireless. So, those two proof points there in terms of how we're investing. And then the last thing they're telling us is, what they need in terms of those innovative and next generation solutions. And as you know, we've kind of been at the forefront of delivering from that standpoint as well. One of the things that's top of mind for every customer, every CIO right now, right, is security. And so we've been working with you guys relative to the launch around dynamic defense. Our new AI-driven security technology gives you real-time threat prevention, auto response, all of those types of things. So security is number one that they're telling us that they need. The second, and this one is just moving way faster than I think any of us thought possible, but we know it's being driven by AI. We know it's being driven by data centers, infrastructure expansion, but it's high speed, right? I mean, you
Sure.
think back, we were selling 50 meg, 100 meg. All of a sudden, we were at 1 gig, kind of probably 2.5 years ago. Now we're crossing over to 10. We're working together on costing out 100 gig, 400 gig infrastructure types of networks. So secure, high speed, and then I mentioned the other one, the last one that's just top of mind for everybody, is wireless, and especially fixed wireless. And
Of
so we've
course.
done a lot relative to our indirect portfolio, our partner portfolio. Actually come a long way with a lot of feedback that you guys provided us on what we needed to deliver in terms of our internet air converged product, our IoT pool plans, basically
Mhm.
anything needed for fixed wireless, both in terms of backup and primary services. So those are kind of the big three. The last one I'll tell you that they need, and we mentioned it on the front end, was around the experience, just in terms of minimizing, friction, minimizing swivel chair activities, making it kind of full flow through and API driven. So we've been investing heavily there as well.
That's amazing. I think having that plan and coming at it from the customer viewpoint, you know that you're delivering the things that people need. And you mentioned AI, and we see that as a great driver. Obviously, it's driving so many things in the world today, but when it comes to the network and connectivity and the need for more and more speed and power to drive those applications, it just opens up so much more opportunity for companies like AT&T and our partnership with you, really to help the partner community and those technology advisors address what businesses in every industry are facing, right? It knows no industry bounds. We've talked a lot about how it impacts healthcare and retail and hospitality, and there's just no vertical left untouched by the potential that AI can bring. So I think you're absolutely right on in terms of understanding where is that going, how is that driving the need, and being there with the answer before
Yeah.
you're even asked, right? And I think
I
that's
mean,
always the key.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Jeannie, and no vertical left untouched here. And I did mention it before. We had to revamp our processes and our product portfolio in
Mhm.
order to start to meet that need, right? Because now you're talking, all right, I've got to ensure 1,000% diversity. So it's maps, it's
Yes.
understanding details relative to architecture and routes, and then it's understanding how those price points work, how you're interconnecting to data centers, endpoints, middle mile, you name it. And so one of the other things that we launched 2 months ago is actually a wave COE. So in order to meet that need, in order to make sure we're pushing those requirements, pushing those opportunities as quickly as possible, we actually have now a team, a group that's specifically focused on these 10 gig, 100 gig, and 400 gig wave opportunities. So great recognition relative to what AI is driving for both of us in the market.
Yes, absolutely. It's incredible. I mean, when you think about, I think you and I have been in the industry for a while, and when you see how things have evolved and you see what's ahead of us, there's just no end to the possibility for companies like yours and us together. So that's very exciting. Now, you mentioned some of the things that you're working on. Is there any one or are there any one or two initiatives that are happening right now in the AT&T Partner Exchange area that you're most excited about?
Yeah, we've always got a lot going on that we're excited about. I touched on a few of them, but I'll tell you what's interesting in this space, and we talked about it a little bit before with the chair in the room and how you have to focus on partners. And we've
Mhm.
always been kind of wide open with partners like BCN and involving you guys on the forefront. You've always been great at providing feedback, volunteering to participate in trials. And we've got four things that are really exciting, kind of right now headed into 2026. The first one I kind of mentioned in its piece parts, which was high speed and wave and fiber connectivity,
Mhm.
and then fixed wireless. What's awesome is how we can start to combine those in a seamless experience. And so we just launched our brand new converged fiber gateway. You guys are involved in that pilot. It's 5G
Mhm.
wireless backup. It's 1 gig and higher broadband. It's exactly what a lot of those customers and verticals are looking for that you were just talking about. So
Mhm.
super excited about scaling converged together. The second one is all around analytics, and BCN got involved with this one over a year ago. We launched it 2 years years ago, but our goal was to get a lot smarter around fiber inventory, around 5G inventory, and start
Mhm.
to open that up to partners so that you guys can utilize that data to analyze your customer bases. Where are more opportunities? How do we upspeed, upsell? How do we fill in the gaps where we've got fiber opportunity that AT&T is seeing as we're rolling out and we're investing in that fiber infrastructure, and make sure that you and your customers and your partners have access to that. So really starting to lean into analytics and the utilization of data. And then third is around ecosystem integration. So we were kind of first out of the gate 12 years ago with APIs. We've continued to invest heavily there. We didn't
Mhm.
stop internally though. What we noticed very early on was that a lot of partners were starting to use industry connectors as well, like ConnectBase. And so we are
Yeah.
now fully integrated with ConnectBase for that fiber qualification, for pricing and offering that fiber information back up to you, BCN, and then obviously for your TSDs and advisors as well. So that's been a big investment for us. We're going to continue that through next year as well. And then finally, and this one goes back to the high speed. We're actually going to be launching a lot of incentives and a lot of marketing materials and things, promotions that we're going to be doing around high speed. We're just fully understanding how critical this is going to be given the moment in time that we're seeing in the market. And so you're going to see a lot of kind of incentives and focus on that high speed as well. So that's big for us. And then, as you know, the other one that I would just call out for kind of the industry in total is that we made an organization change a little over 4 months ago, where we brought all of our indirect organizations together, both in terms of partner exchange, wholesale, and alliance. And this was really aimed at one thing. We knew that we would be better together. We knew that we would drive further investment into the entire market for all of our partners like BCN, for all of the TSDs, for all of their advisors as well. All of that scale rising the water for all boats in terms of the investment and what we could
Yes.
drive together. So that's the other one that's kind of in the past, but we're just on the front edge of what that's going to mean going forward. So I want to make sure I
Mhm.
mentioned that one as well.
That's great. And I know that you feel similarly as we do that you're never really done, right? You're always
Yes.
looking for ongoing improvements, enhancements, ways to continue the emphasis on the things that you say are important. These aren't flashes in the pan. These aren't today's initiative or this month's focus. This is ongoing. It is a commitment that we make to the things that are most important to us, to the technology advisors that we work with, to the customers that they bring us into. And I think that that's what I hear from you too, is that this isn't a temporary, hey, let's do this today and maybe we'll do it tomorrow, but we'll see. You just really make a commitment and continue to focus and bring people back to, hey, this is what we said we were going to do. Are we doing it? And how can we do it better? And oh, by the way, if we lost our way a little bit for some reason, how do we get back on track and how do we make that right? And I believe that that's what's valued most in a partnership, whether it's between Partner Exchange and BCN, or it's between BCN and our technology advisors or our customers. It's really believing that we continue to do the best we can.
Yeah, that is super well said. And we approach it the same way. And we understand, day in and day out, you're serving your partners, serving your customers. At the end of the day, and what you're seeing, and you mentioned it a second ago, is AT&T is all in on connectivity, and we are all in on indirect and utilizing our partner community to help to facilitate the utilization of that network. And
But I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be with us today to share so much information about what you've done and what you're doing. And I know that we appreciate you and your team so very much. The AT&T Partner Exchange is very important to us, and we love working with all of you. And we look forward to a lot of future success.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for the invite. Like I mentioned before, BCN is amazing in terms of their partnership and how we're driving growth in the market. And Jeannie, I really appreciate the invite, and I will come anytime. So
My
no need to
pleasure.
thank. And
My
next
pleasure.
time
We will
I'll
take you
bring
up on
I'll
that.
bring the chair.
Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes. We've got some great conversations coming up with top industry influencers in technology, connectivity, and the partner experience. You won't want to miss them.